Hello again, BookTube. Today I'm going to be discussing where I get all my books from and how I managed to collect so many books without going broke. So first I'll address the most obvious thing, and that's that this is my first time doing a face reveal on my channel. I don't really know if this counts as a face reveal because my channel is so new, but in any case, this is me. This is what I look like. Thank you so much to anyone and everyone who watched my first YouTube video, my 2020 bookshelf tour, and to anyone who's watching this video right now, whether that's because you're genuinely interested or you just misclicked. In either case, you're here, so I thank you for that. Like I said in my last video, I'm very new to the BookTube community, but these videos have been so fun to make and plan out, and I'm very excited to talk about today's topic. I really want Quiet Calm Books to be sort of a safe space for everyone to talk about their love for books, for me to talk about my love for books, and for you guys in the comments, and I really hope that my channel can provide that for you. But today we're going to be covering a topic that is a bit more down to earth, and that is very important to me as a frugal book buyer, and that is where I get all my books from and how I get free books. The most important thing to note is that I've technically been collecting books since I was about 6 years old, and I would always make a book wish list or ask for Barnes & Noble gift cards for my birthdays when I was younger, so a lot of my older books came from my parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles. Most of my friends today also know what an avid reader I am, so I still get a lot of books and gift cards from them as well because I have a lot of amazing friends. I also got a lot of my books for free via book clubs because I was in a book club in high school and then later joined one in college, which I'm currently in. But even if you are out of school, you can most definitely find a book club at your library or your local community center. Luckily, most towns and cities have a book club of some kind. Anytime that there's a book event or a book club that includes an offer of a free book, you can pretty much guarantee that I'm there because why wouldn't you be? You get to go to a cool book event and you get a free book. It's a plus plus. Honestly, even if it's not a book that I'm that interested in, I probably would still go, and it's not just because I'm greedy and I want to own as many books as I possibly can, but rather that I like the idea of expanding my book palette and getting to have discussions about books that I might not have picked up on my own otherwise. I got a lot of my classics for free too. They are up there, you can't see on camera, but you saw in my bookshelf tour hopefully. Because I had to read them for high school, like a lot of my Shakespeare books, Romeo and Juliet, things like that. But then unfortunately, any books that I had to have as required reading for college, I was forced to purchase myself. The third way that I get free books is through the publishing industry. I've mentioned before, but I am a double English and Japanese major, and I am very interested in possibly publishing, editing, and translation as a career. So during the school year, I'm constantly seeking out different publishing internships. Most of the internships that I worked were unpaid and only offered the benefit of experience in the industry, which is great in itself, although if you can find a paid one, I would definitely recommend it. It's kind of difficult right now. But one of the perks that they did offer was they would often have an influx of extra books from publishers, and they would let me take some home to keep for myself. I remember after I read Reign the Earth by A.C. Gaughan, I had just been about to buy the sequel, Imprison the Sky, which is this right here, Imprison the Sky, but then I just so happened to find it on the bookshelves at my internship, and I was like, yes, it's a book that I actually want to read and I get it for free. So yeah, if you do have the opportunity to find some of those unpaid internships that offer free books, I would definitely take it. Actually, quite a few of my books came from that internship. Moon Chosen was from that same internship, and then The Bird King was also from that same internship. Also, make sure to check out your local library, not just because you can obviously check books out there for free, but because a lot of libraries will do sales for books that haven't been checked out in a while, and when they want to get rid of older books. I know my two local libraries have those sales during the summer months a lot, and they sell books for as cheap as $1 or $2. That's it. So definitely some of the books on my shelves came from those sales. Finally, any books that I do purchase myself, I will try to buy at local thrift stores in New York or at places like Goodwill and Savers in my hometown, or sometimes if I don't really want to buy from those thrift stores, I will at least buy from local bookstores, so that way you are supporting local businesses more than those chain bookstores. I'm back and forth between New York and Illinois a lot, so I definitely have a lot of thrift store options and local bookstores available to me. I know that's not necessarily an option for everyone, but that is definitely something that I utilize. Book festivals are also a good place to find books. A couple of my books, my Prince interview book and then my short story horror collection over here came from the Brooklyn Book Festival, which is very cool if you ever have the chance to go. If I am looking for a very specific edition of a book, I have bought online from Abe Books in the past and had a lot of luck there. Unfortunately, the books aren't always in great condition, and that's kind of important to me as a collector, so I usually only use Abe Books if I'm looking for that very specific older edition or if I'm buying a book for school. And then finally, if I'm going to buy a book full price from Barnes & Noble or Amazon, it's usually because that book is brand new or near impossible to find anywhere else in good condition. There are a few rules that I set for myself before I decide to buy a book full price. These rules may not work for you, but they do work for me to at least pretend that I have some ounce of self-control, although I really don't. Firstly, I ask myself, how urgent is it that I buy and read the book right now? And if it's not a book from my favorite series or something like that, then I try to remind myself that I can always wait a few months until the book goes on sale or check it out from a library. Secondly, how sure am I that I'm going to like that book? If the book is from a new genre or author, then I tend to wait until I can check it out from the library, just because new genres and authors really tend to be a hit or miss for me, and I've had some pretty bad misses, so I try not to buy on a whim anymore, especially with brand new, overhyped books. I try to save my money for my favorite authors that I really know that I want to read. I find that I usually feel the most guilty about spending money on books when the book is one that I don't end up liking versus if it's one that I loved and that I know I'll probably read again. I also buy a lot of my international literature full price, especially books from Japan or books in Japanese, which are very difficult to find online or at any thrift store. As I said in my bookshelf tour, most of my books in Japanese come from the store Kinokuniya. Luckily, a lot of my friends also study Japanese or are interested in Japanese culture, so some of my books come from them because they'll give me a lot of their books about Japan that they don't want anymore. So I'd say that it's excusable to buy a book full price if it's international lit or it's a brand new book that you know you're going to love. Or if you just got a really big paycheck. Or if you've had a bad day. Or if you just can't control yourself.